Hi, my name is Drew, and you're watching ReadyBudgetGo. If we haven't met before, welcome. I'm glad you found your way here. And if this isn't your first visit, welcome back. It's good to see you again. This is the weekly reel where I talk about the week that was in terms of my spending, my saving, and all of the money that came into and went out of my life. I am going to do my cash dump. We'll talk about the November budget and get that closed out, and the first few days of December, and my savings, and then some of my plans for next year. It's going to be a doozy. Let's get into it. The first thing that I want to do is the cash dump. So I unfortunately did have to spend some cash this week. I had an unexpected in office day. To make a long story short, it has to do with health insurance and our election for next year. I'm not happy, but nothing I can do about it. So change goes in there. That was 50 some cents. And then from the cash that I have left, that is, I think I've got this all in order. Yep. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. $34. Now, I did not, well, let me put it this way. I am rolling this money into December. I'm rolling the cash into December only because it would just go into the bank and then come right back out, because I'm putting the money in the bank to pay for all of the year-end festivities, because that's what I do with the money, the cash that I don't spend each month that goes into the special events fund. And I am stocked way up on ones here. I got to get rid of some of those eventually. So from November, the cash that I did not spend is 20, 40, 60, 80, 90, 100, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 50, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 60. $160. So I am just going to cycle that into here. I did take $50 out of the cash machine because I wasn't sure how this week was going to finish. So I have that here, 50. I actually took it out of the bank, not out of the cash machine. So I'm $10 over, but that's okay. So I am going to put all this in the right order, and then I will take out $50 for next week. So 20, 40, and I'll just do ones, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 50. Okay, so the rest of this money is going to go into this pouch, and that'll be kind of my bank for the rest of December. This $50 is going to go into this pouch, and that's my cash spending money for the week. I'm going to try really hard not to spend it, but we'll see. I may have to go into the office again next week. December's been just something else so far. And then this is now empty because I cleared everything out from November, and then we've got the change in here. So this is all good to go. We'll just set these aside. So if you're new to my channel, I give myself $50 in sort of mad money each week, and I record it as $50 spent no matter how much of it I spend or don't spend. But I try to spend as little as possible because everything I don't spend, I put into my special events fund. But right now, I'm robbing the special events fund for the holidays. Again, if you're new, I picked up 5 new family members this year due to having a brother that I didn't know about. And he's married and has 3 children, so those 5 people I now need to shop for Christmas. And yes, I don't truly need to, but at the same time, trying to expand my family here with my new to me relatives, is something that I really want to try to do on some level. So anyway, all right, let's talk about the spending. So this is November, and we're still in November for the wallet spending because the 28th was a Friday. So that counted as a December or a November week for the wallet spend. and it was $288.15, so over what I budgeted, but not as bad as last week, so I give myself credit there. But I was kind of to the F it point this month. I knew I had the buffer here, the $498, and I also knew this doctor office visit was, the payment for it is going to be pushed into either December or January. So I knew I had extra money to spend, and I spent it. I didn't spend all of it. I still ended up with $316.43 left over, and it would have been even more than that, but I also didn't get my cell phone reimbursement from my company. I asked accounts payable about it today, and they said, oh, you'll get it on Friday because we were out last week. And I thought, okay, well, I submitted this, in the middle of November, but at any rate, so that will go into my December budget, but I don't have the money just yet. So I highlighted this in red, not because it was a bad number, but just that was the color I picked up. And that was the only thing that I entered on this page, other than to total out everything and get to the final numbers here so that I could fill out my recap. But before we get there, let's go to the cash flow tracker. I didn't have any additional transactions in December. In order to have those, they would have had to come through my checking account on the 28th. And I was really busy on Black Friday with other things. So I totaled everything, but I didn't check to see if it balanced. So let me do that real quick. And let's just make sure that everything is copacetic. So we started with $3,264.84 and earned or deposited $63.64.93. And then we spent, or I spent, $61.28.92. $3,500.85, and that was the balance on the last day of the month. So everything balances. So that gets a check mark here. And we're done with this page. Okay, expense trackers. So for the last week of the month, here's what I spent. I went to Taco Time and got food. That was just, Taco Time is sort of like a fresher Taco Bell. I don't know how to describe it. I don't know where all they are. I know they're in the Northwest, but I don't think they're a national chain. Then McDonald's, Apple. This was, I talked about last week, I was going to get socked with another bill, and I did, $46.23. And that should be the last for that. Fred Meyer, this is groceries, $100.49. Instacart, this was, this must have been a restaurant. $60.10, and then weekly cash spent $50 as normal. That $60 is a lot for a restaurant. I think that was a pizza place. I didn't get pizza, but they were running some kind of fantastic deal on Black Friday, and so I got breadsticks and pasta and salads and all of this stuff, and it lasted me pretty much the whole weekend. So $60 for 3 days of food, and I didn't have to cook any of it. I'll take it. Okay. So that's it for this. And then the month-end review. So total income, again, was short because I didn't get the cell phone reimbursement. Bills was short because I moved that doctor office visit to December and probably won't get the bill until late this month or even January. And then overspending on the wallet. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. Lots of spending there. Stockpiles, I always save a little more than I plan. And so that left me a little bit short with my remainder, but still had a healthy remainder. That remainder, the remainder of the remainder, is going to go into the business account because that's just where it goes. And I'll talk about that a little bit more in an upcoming video. So I am going to seed ReadyBudgetGo. I'm basically going to use the Blip Fund to do it. This has been an issue that has wreaked havoc with my finances this year, kind of in the background because of Etsy's payment policies. So for those of you who don't have an Etsy shop, when someone buys something from your shop, you don't get the money right away. I am on a 3-week hold. I have called them and asked them to, shorten that. They say that I don't have any holds on my account. And I say, okay, but you're not depositing this money or you're not making it available until 3 weeks later. So cash flow has become a serious, serious issue, especially because I use professional printers. So I have to pay for everything up front. And then the proceeds from the sales on my Etsy shop don't come through until 3 weeks after the sale. And meanwhile, I'm paying, Etsy's taking all of their money, up front. So the money for shipping and the fees and the marketing and all of that, that all comes out off the top before I see any of it. So all that to say, I'm going to rob the Blip Fund to seed ReadyBudgetGo, and then I'm going to rebuild the Blip Fund over the course of 2026. That's the plan. So what went well? Bill's mostly in line with expectations, and that's true. I mean, I didn't have to pay for that office visit yet. I will eventually, but overall, pretty good there. Business needs the seed money. I talked about that. And then Christmas needs a sinking fund. Lots of things need a sinking fund. I cash flowed everything or almost everything in 2025. 2026, I'm going to be using sinking funds. The reason that I cash flowed everything in 2025 is because I had so many savings goals, right? I had my emergency fund, I had the Blip Fund, I had the Roth IRA, I had the big move. I had all these things that I wanted to save for. And I thought, if I set up the sinking funds now, I'm just going to be shuffling the money around. But I've accomplished those goals, even though some of them I'm going to be doing again. In fact, I'm going to be revisiting all of those one way or another in 2026. But I have more confidence now in what I need as far as sinking funds, both in terms of the categories and what I want to set aside or what would make them fully funded. So anyway, a video on that will be coming in the coming weeks. I got to get that done before I do my January budget. And I try to get the next month budget done around the 15th of the month that we're in. So I might push that off a little bit later just so I have more time to think on what I really want my 2026 budget to look like. So a video on that will be coming at some point in the first half of December, probably. Okay, things to remember for this time next year. Again, Christmas sinking funds start ASAP. And that means don't wait. Make sure you have a separate sinking fund in January. I'm still going to keep the special events fund, but I'm going to treat that more of a slush fund rather than a sinking fund, which is what I did this year. And then savings was in a crunch going into December. So, I'm constrained in how much I'm saving in the December budget, and you'll see that here shortly. And I don't want that to be the story in 2026. So my hope is that I get the sinking funds set up correctly, I get things running smoothly, that I won't be in a position where I have to save less in December because I'm catching up on everything that I decided to cash flow. Okay, so that is it for November. Let's talk about December. So I already had, and first of all, no income yet. So I will write in the cell reimbursement, because this is December's. I will write in November's here when I get it, but it's not in the bank yet, so I'm not writing it in. My first paycheck won't be here till the 15th, so this week and next week we're not going to see anything in income, or at least not for paychecks. And then for bills, rent came out, water, sewer, garbage came out, iCloud came out, and renter's insurance came out. 3 of those were as expected. Water, sewer, garbage is always an estimate. I give myself 100 this week, or this month rather, it was 81. Credit card annual fee, that is $650. This one I will be setting up a sinking fund for next year. I wasn't anticipating renewing the card this year, and then I did, and it's like, oh crap, I have to come up with that $650. And then Orca, which is my transit pass, I had to put more money on that because I've been using transit a lot lately, going up to the office so much. So hopefully we won't have to do that in January, but we'll see, right? We'll just see. Wallet spending hasn't started yet. That starts on the day that you're watching this, on the 5th. I did up it to $300 a week in December just because it's going to be a heavier spend month. And here's the savings that are constrained, right? Or, well, I'm stockpiling, right? I'm not savings. So I'm not saving. To me, a savings account or savings is something that doesn't have a specific purpose attached to it, right? So this is your emergency fund, a rainy day fund, my Blip Fund. All of those are examples to me of savings versus stockpiles where I know what I want to spend that money on. I just don't have enough of it yet. So I'm saving up for, I use the word stockpiling, money toward that goal. And for me, that is the big move. I've talked about it several times on my channel. I still don't know where I'm going, but I want to move to another state, ideally sometime in 2026. Don't know where, don't know when, but that's the plan in some form or another. So $253 went to that this week. And that is it for the monthly budget overview. We'll skip over the cash allocation. This is just something I do every month to show me where I want the stockpiles to go and how much I'm giving myself to spend each week. Okay, cash flow tracker. So these are all of the transactions that went through my checking account. Only outflows so far. So rent and water, sewer, garbage went out as one. This is that withdrawal for $50 for December wallet. Transfer of the $250 to savings for the big move, and then 3 credit card payments. Otherwise, quiet so far. No expenses yet because, again, we're not into the December weeks for the wallet spending, so that will start today as you're seeing this. And then the month-end review hasn't started yet. Okay, so let's flip over and talk about savings. And I will go through this as quick as I can because I have already talked about most of this. I'm going to go through my entire savings section. So first off is the emergency fund. So this is fully funded at $12,210. It was $209 here, but an extra dollar went in, and that's fine. So I am going to redo this worksheet for 2026 with different numbers, and we'll see if we get a different total. If I get a different total, it will be my top priority to fund this before I do anything else in 2026. So I feel it's important to make sure that your emergency fund really does meet the level of spending that you want it to, and I do that each year. So next year, and this will be part of that upcoming video I was talking about earlier, I'm going to do a new emergency fund builder worksheet. If necessary, I will print out a new one of these with a new beaker and we'll start filling it up. Okay, that's the savings tracker for the emergency fund. And then here's the blip fund. Now, as I mentioned, I'm going to rob this to fund or to seed ReadyBudgetGo. And so I will print out a new one of these and I will slow burn building this back up. I made it a big priority in 2025 and then I never touched it. So because I already have a fully funded emergency fund, if something is a blip, a big enough blip, I will just borrow from the emergency fund. But I do want to have this in place. So I'm thinking $25, $50 a week until it's fully funded again. And it's $2,000. So at those slower amounts, it's going to take a while. But that is the plan for the blip fund. For subscriber count, this is one of my savings challenges, I guess you could say, where I save $5 per subscriber, and I fill in the tracker here every time I reach another 10 subscriber milestone. So this last week, we crossed the 730 mark, so I filled in another circle. Thank you very much. And I also caught up on this one and this one. So now I'm at 3650, which is correct for being at 730 plus subscribers. And welcome to all of you who are new. I hope you enjoy my channel. So once this is fully funded, this is going toward the big move. And I will continue doing this even if the big move happens before I hit the 1,000 subscriber milestone, because I enjoy it and I'm enjoying seeing this tracker fill in. Okay, now the big move books. This is Savings Challenge books, and it's also Ready Budget Games. So Monday night, Tuesday, and Wednesday, all of those savings challenges are going toward this. So on Mondays, I save $100 into my Superman binder for Ready Budget Game. Tuesdays are celebration savings and the Batman binder full of just regular savings challenges. And then on Wednesday is My Money Relaunch, where I do the paint by sticker book, and that is $50. So $100, $100, and $50. That is the plan for December. January might change again, but for now, that's where we are. And so I did put in the 253 this week, and now that is up to 5,378. Some of these transactions haven't posted yet, so I'm not going to pop up a picture of my Wealthfront account, but hopefully I will catch those earlier in the week next week, and I'll be able to do that again during the next weekly reel. Okay, last thing I want to talk about is the Roth IRA. So I will soon be pulling my tracker from this year out. I already have next year's ready. This one is the one for 8,600. So if you are age 50 plus, this includes your catch-up contribution. But I will be using this tracker, which is the $7,500, because I am not yet 50 years of age. So that is how much I can put in my Roth IRA or my Sloth IRA for the year. And I'm just going to use this side of the worksheet. So that will start in January, and it will be one of my savings priorities for the year as well. So that is it for the weekly reel for this week. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all the time that you spent here. If you enjoyed the video, please leave it a thumbs up. Drop me a comment down below. And if you haven't subscribed already, I'd love to have you, and I'll save $5 if you do. And until I see you in the next one, take care.